Hi, everyone. It's Linda G here with your favorite man about town, Andre. Put that light on so you can see my face. Hi, Andre.
Hello, everyone.
Long time no see.
Yes, yes.
So we got a lot of astrological stuff going on right now.
We do. That's totally true. Yes.
So tell us, those who, I watch you on your, I belong to your Patreon too, but I rarely, I pay all this money to belong to Patreon and rarely go in. But what are you getting lately that we should be interested in? One gentleman wrote and said, and you said it's a good question, about the full moon in Leo at 27 degrees. How's that going to affect Trump?
Right. Well, okay. So in the case of Trump, and I believe the gentleman said this, he mentioned, didn't he mention something about the late degrees, something about?
Yeah, he said about 2 degrees off Trump's ascending.
Right. So Trump has his ascendant is super late Leo, and then he has his Mars near there as well, right? So those degrees are really active. The full moon is like a trigger. You have to picture the sun on one end, the moon on the other end. They're putting a lot of energy into that, right? But the thing about it is you also have to look at the context of where is this person overall. Trump is in full-blown decline. It's like a plane that is losing altitude. And I mean, I don't want to create too many,
But you've been saying this for a while. You said
right.
Something was leaving something, and that's when boom.
Right. So now this doesn't mean, if you say, well, okay, the guy is declining, the full moon is just gonna sink him. No, it's just another event in a long series of events. Just look at the media the last couple of days. The accounting firm, they stopped. And from what I hear, what the accounting firm bailing out on you like that is the closest thing to an indictment. It is so bad when they.
No kidding.
Yes,
I wondered about that.
Yeah, and I mean the thing about that is that now people are saying, wait a second, are they bailing out because they found out that they were lied to, or were they also cooperating with the lies and they're actually working out deals for themselves? Because if they were doing this with any knowledge of the cheating that Trump was doing, then they're implicated as well. So then they become, a cooperating entity. By the way, this family, you can tell when they're in trouble because they start screaming. The prosecutors, they're coming after us. Yeah, they are. They're coming after you because you're a bunch of crooks. That's why they're coming after you. And you see that this kind of thing can rise to the surface with more intensity, more emotion on full moons. So yeah, the answer to the question, if the person said, well, is this guy going to blow a gasket? It says Mars. He's going to blow a gasket. But Trump blows gaskets at every opportunity. He's a martial person to begin with. So it's happening constantly. It's just that now, yes, it's more problematic and can be like a moment when you see it especially clearly, right? The other thing, I don't know if you saw that one of the favorite tricks, the right wingers, that whole group of people, now they're going after Hillary because it's like they got to distract. So there are these stories being carried by the New York Post where they say things like Hillary was something about how she was trying to spy on the Trump campaign, that whole story. I mean, and always like, where's the proof? Never any proof.
They're saying Durham came up with it, but it's not. I think somebody said that they took the information Durham was talking about and made it into something else.
Made it into something. And by the way, Durham filed a case. And I heard this morning on Morning Joe, they were saying this case, there's nothing there. He says things like spying was going on without providing dates, it almost seems like a political document to see if they can. And you start to realize, isn't it weird that these things come up when Trump is really getting hit from the other side? It's almost like they're trying to distract the public or get them to focus on Hillary, wicked Hillary.
Yeah.
He's the one.
Somebody said he even just was somebody, Don or one other, bringing up Hunter again, Hunter Biden.
Well, yeah, anything. I mean, now, mind you, in astrology, you do see the correlations because Hillary is a Scorpio. So Scorpio is under pressure from Saturn. So I'm sure she's at her house thinking, here we go again.
Here we go again.
Republicans putting pressure. No one likes to see, who wants to see their name, in the papers saying that you're this and you're that. No one likes that. So that's her astrology. But in comparison to what Trump is going through, not even close, right?
What do you, like, just give us a little tidbit of what may the aspects coming up in the future.
Well, with Trump, I've said it before around, when you look at 2022, with Trump, what's happening is that whereas a person can have a Jupiter is the best planet, right? So if you get Jupiter helping you, things pick up, they improve, they grow, you even get luck breaking your way. The problem for Trump is that Jupiter now is completely misaligned in that it's in the unlucky position during 2022, plus all the rest of the planets. I mean, if it were just Jupiter, okay, you could get through. Saturn, Pluto, Uranus, Eris, everything in the firmament is pushing into him, right? And you know, this thing that happened with the, I don't know if you saw that video that I did, because it's pretty hilarious, the thing with flushing the records down the toilet.
Yes.
Like that is such poetry around the astrology, because you literally go to the poop house. I mean, where he's like flushing and he's trying to get rid of records because the Neptune comes from the record house. And isn't it karmic? This guy used to attack Hillary and go, oh, Hillary this and the emails.
And she knows it's illegal. He stood up there as big as day.
And he said that, right? He said, I mean, people say, well, he has to have intent. He was accusing Pelosi. Now, Pelosi had a copy of a speech, so obviously that's not illegal. You can tear the copy. She's not tearing the actual record. But he said, trying to, you know, basically besmirch her, he said, you're not allowed to destroy government property. That's illegal. That's totally illegal. Okay, well then, can you imagine? I mean, if you're in a case and you say, well, he doesn't know, let's put the camera on.
Let's show,
You know, in case he says, I don't recall.
Yeah. Well, and why would you put paper down the toilet? Why would you eat paper?
Because you don't want, well, I mean, basically he's a gangster. He's never liked leaving records of anything. The problem is that that's hard to do. Like the accounting firm, they have a lot of records, or the other guy that's charged that is accounted. You know, they were keeping two sets of books.
Yes.
I guess it's not possible to just do everything.
I really think that finances are what's really going to take them down.
Yeah, well, and this is where you see the astrology, the prime place where he's got this huge problem is in the house of taxes, insurance, money, loans. That Neptune is parked there. That's exactly what got triggered, right? You can even see it by the moon came around, triggers, and then the thing got released around these records, which of course he hates. But you know, wouldn't it be ironic if what he did to Hillary, which I mean, Hillary, it's true, she could have done it better. I agree.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, but nothing compared to him.
Right. But he was used. This is the classic thing. You know, people want to know what karma is. When you're maliciously, attacking another person, because he was doing it maliciously, right? Constantly. Then, I mean, what about you? And now the very thing, the very thing that he was doing to her has come back to be a major topic for him, except it could have teeth, among many things in there that he's being, investigated.
Oh, he acted like the records people knew he had the top secret stuff. And by the way, he took pieces of art and stuff that he wasn't entitled to. Oh, they're going to do an investigation on that. But the killer is this Mazar thing was huge.
Exactly.
This Mazar thing is the beginning of something. So I don't know if other people are going to pull their loans in from him and say, pay up, sucker. But I just see him falling.
Right. And this is another, I mean, you can see it in astrology, or you could say that it's a life rule. Momentum is your friend, momentum is your enemy. This is why, like I always say to people, good gets better, bad gets worse. Get on the good train, because then things will improve. If things start to slide, they'll keep sliding. Things are sliding for this guy. I mean, you could say it's bad luck. What bad luck? He was doing this. The thing with astrology, people sometimes think, oh, it's fate. Yeah, it's fate up to a point, but 80% of it is what you did. The planet comes around and it says, hey, you were robbing banks over there. Now here you got to pay the price.
Here you got to pay the price.
Now you pay but it can take, quite a while. And one of the things that for me is really frustrating is I keep seeing comments on my channel saying, why isn't Merrick Garland, he's a failure? Why aren't they, prosecuting this guy? Because it takes a while. Democracies are run by lawyers. They're run by lawyers.
Yeah.
Think about it, right? Lawyers are. These politicians are all lawyers. Lawyers, they collect a lot of money, they take a long time, and they keep filing motions. Like that's Trump's favorite trick. You go after him, he takes everything to the Supreme Court, step by step, until the Supreme Court says, no, 8-1, sorry. But he keeps trying.
He tried to claim executive privilege and they said no.
Exactly, but look how long it took. We were reading about it in the papers months before, oh, he's going to do it, and then it takes, they don't, it would be easy if it was quick. And same with Garland. He can't prosecute someone without taking his time. And if you want to understand that, think about that woman the woman that had the blood scandal, Theranos, right? Remember her? The
what?
Elizabeth, what's her name?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, so think back. When was she first in trouble? About 2015, 2016. When did she get convicted? 2022.
Okay.
Why did it take that long? Because that's the law. She has money. She can pay lawyers. They push back. they
Push
go around in
back. That's
circles.
what Trump did.
And he'll do it. Trump will do it to his dying breath. He was taught by Roy Cohn. You fight, you keep fighting, you throw motions,
Deny.
you
But
deny.
did you happen to look at Rudy? Rudy's going to actually testify.
Rudy's chart is a royal mess. Rudy's is an example of, I remember, I believe in one of my videos saying, someone should have told this guy, you know, if you don't make this work, this thing that you're doing, you've got some really stressful years post the 2020 election. Are you sure that this is the right play? No, it wasn't the right play, obviously. I mean, when you look at what they were doing, it was like the Keystone Cops, to be honest. When you really look at their plan, I mean, does it look sophisticated to you? No, but it's the idea that astrology used strategically, you're looking ahead and you realize there's a lot of pressure there in the 21, 22, period. And you can put a spin on that. Like you could say, well, that could mean that I'm in this really important job and having a lot of responsibility. Yeah, but I mean, you're planning an insurrection before that, and come on,
And it was fake. That book that I read, Peril, with Bob Woodward, it said that everybody, it was Giuliani who said, no, you won this. I have 1,000 dead people's death certificates that voted, and he lied. He never showed anybody anything.
No, nothing. No, I mean, this is the thing about this period that is most remarkable to me is the ability of a very large number of people to totally overlook decency and common sense. I mean, if you're going to say someone is guilty of something, show some evidence. Where's the evidence? All
That's what they kept saying. That's what
there's amazing evidence. What evidence?
Yeah, we know, sir, Your Honor, and the judge would say, just give me something.
No, and Trump keeps saying, Trump is all messaging. He keeps saying, everybody knows there's massive evidence. No, who knows that? I mean, that's you flat, moving your lips. Where's the evidence? Produce something, anything, papers.
But do you think Giuliani will actually try to save himself?
I'm guessing that Giuliani, just looking at his character, what do you think? I mean,
well, I think Trump doesn't have anything to do with him. He's cut out. Well, and I think he thinks Trump dropped him to the wayside. So he knows he was part of that January 6th, and he's going to try to come up with a deal.
Yeah, well, okay. So let me put it this way. There was speculation that that the reason it's coming out that he's cooperating with the committee is because he's hoping Trump will start to pay his legal bills because they're climbing and he's going broke, right?
Yes.
But Trump doesn't pay any bills. So I don't know. That seems like a bit of a long shot. And so, yeah, I'll go with your perception that he is likely to be, because you see this too in people. This is one of the dangers. And when you see chart to chart, people get drawn to each other, not because everything is easy. There'll be some dynamic energy raising thing, but that could turn on you. That's what happened with his lawyer, Michael Cohen. They have the kind of chart where there's support, but if something goes wrong, that person can become your most bitter enemy. And there's that particular thing in Giuliani too, because he's got Giuliani's Saturn, which is the rebuking planet, is set up so that if things go really wrong with Trump, he can become like the traitor to Trump. He could say, well, I'm sorry, but I had to save my skin. And
I have to say, and I'm hoping for a deal because I'm a big part of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's it. And then the other thing now, just going back to the full moon, is that
when is the full moon, by the way? Sorry.
Well, we're already sort of on it because you could say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like it's pretty full already, but it's actually tomorrow. Tomorrow is when it makes.
Because it was beautiful early 4 o'clock this morning. It was beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the full moon is an auspicious energy. It's actually a good alignment to be born under, but you always have to be thinking both sides of an issue. So one side of the full moon is brilliance, illumination, high energy, but it's a little unstable. It's got this feeling of like being like if someone gave you a really fast horse and they told you this horse is amazing, you can really fly, be careful because you can fall off.
Okay,
When you
okay.
fall off, you can break your whatever, right? So, but a lot of politicians, like Trump has a full moon, Kamala has a full moon, Biden has a full moon. It's not quite as precise as Trump's, but very common in the public realm for people to have full moons because it gives them more energy, more belief, and all of that, right? So, but then there's the alignment of the full moon at different times. And for Trump, what I said earlier, it's tricky, but especially because of the overall nature of his chart. In the case of Biden, that full moon is stressful because Biden is late Scorpio, right? He's right at the very end of Scorpio. So then picture the moon at right angles. It's like this, making a cross. So I'm sure he's really sweating it right now because this thing with Ukraine, he's probably wondering, okay, are they gonna, I mean,
Right.
they're saying things like they're gonna attack tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't trust that Putin as far as I can throw.
No, well, and that's where
They're
with
already
Putin-
hitting with cyber. They're hitting their banks right now. It's not horrible stuff. They're hitting their Department of Defense. Russia is.
Right.
And I don't
Russia-
believe him. He says, oh, I'm pulling some people back, but he does things just to say, he's not a very nice man. He
No, and I mean, this is the thing that for all the trouble the US has gone through because of disinformation, this has been the period. Russia is like a disinformation machine. They're
oh
always
yeah,
and one of the things that went wrong here for him is that Biden realized that he had to be stronger, and you notice that the Biden team started to create their own information flow. So now it's like Russia likes to do things on the sly and then say something like, oh, they attacked us and whatever. But there's been this big stream of news predicting, like saying, no, he's got his troops there, then he's going to do this next. I'm sure Putin hates that
he
because
hates the light being on him because they can see. They were
Exactly.
just talking on the news, he wants to go in there to take over a lot of things.
oh yeah.
He's lying about NATO. That's not the deal. And also, he doesn't really have a reason except he's a pig to go in there and take over. Because remember when they took over the other country, what was the name of it? They had men in green uniforms with nothing signifying where they were from. They just
Yes.
went in there and took over. Putin said, I don't know who they are.
Oh
And
yeah.
they were all Russians.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's classic. I mean, Putin is KGB, disinform.
But KGB said they found it interesting that he had no qualms about what he does. He had he jumps in, he's not fair, he's fearless. When the Merkel told him she was afraid of dogs, what did he do the next time he saw her? Brings this big old black dog.
Nice guy.
He has
Nice
no
guy.
problem with killing his own people. And did you see poor Navalny? They've got him up in trial again
Oh yeah, no,
for
I mean,
some other bogus of thing.
Putin, I mean, this is the thing, and one of the things, he's a Libra though. He's got a lot of planets in Libra, so that's why he can be very smooth and he can fool you into this. He's got this ability to relate. Remember how George W. Bush said, "Oh, I looked into his soul," and he's telling me the truth. George, come on, George, wake up.
He has no soul.
You should have sent Dick Cheney to the meeting because Dick Cheney is, he would have figured it out a lot more quick, right? So Putin, that he's smooth that way. And at the moment, you can see in his chart, he's got enough Jupiter to give him a kind of expansive, optimistic, I'm going to try this. And then he's got, right now, Mars is going through Capricorn during like January, February, and into the spring. It's in Capricorn. Capricorn squares Libra, so it makes him more aggressive.
Okay.
Mars is
And
like.
do you see anything kind of turning on him?
Well, the thing is that where I would tell him, you're making a mistake for a couple of reasons. One reason is that as the chart keeps going later into the year, to the following year, the energy doesn't work very well. That's the first problem. The second problem is that Biden's chart is much better than his for how this would turn out. So when you see this struggle, what Biden has done that is very clever, he has, when you study Biden's chart, he's got a very nice ability to make partners. That's why he became vice president, right? He's got the partnership house really strong. So Obama gives him a vice presidential job, which, it's a pretty major job, but
Right.
he knows how to bring people on and make partners with them. He's brought the whole group NATO is now, basically on board saying we're not in agreement with this Ukraine thing. Putin was banking on disarray, like Germany will say they're okay, France will argue. Biden doesn't even want to go in there because he left Afghanistan and he's not into getting into a conflict. But
Exactly.
I think in a way it's upside down because Biden has to do this in a way to regain his strength, and the perception of strength.
I don't know
And-
what's going to happen, but there's something that Biden does that actually helps catapult him to even a better agreement with the United States. You know how he was falling in his numbers?
Yes.
Biden, something about this whole affair with Russia seems to catapult Biden where he looks
Yeah.
like almost like a hero. So I don't know
Yeah,
what exactly.
That makes sense. Like if that, let's just say what you just said lines up with the astrology really, really well, because the astrology of Biden in the summer, his foreign affairs international area is working really well, in contrast to last year when it was not. Last year was problematic, which is why, an astrology probably would have told him, you want to leave Afghanistan? How? Wait, hold on, let's talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this, I don't care what you have, probably it's a necessary, it's been too long. Yes, but your timing.
Yeah, he kind of did. Yeah,
Yeah.
but this seems to be better.
Yeah, no, much
However,
better.
he's working this. And like you said, everybody's looking at this, everybody. And
Exactly.
Putin doesn't like that.
No, exactly. So if my sense is that, Biden, in a way, when you look at a chart, you say Jupiter's coming in, it's nice. It can be from anywhere. It could be that the economy improves, or like, for example, how one of the lucky breaks he got was that the jobs reports were poor, and then they decide, oh no, it was a mistake. So
It
then
was
all
a
of a sudden
mistake.
he got those news. So
And the numbers are going down with the virus. Everything,
exactly,
the
right,
numbers are
exactly,
going
that's
down.
true. Yeah, that's a separate, that's, I think, once Jupiter entered Pisces at the end of the year, to me, that was even though people said, oh, Omicron is horrible, there were lots of reports already in December saying this thing is more transmissible, but a lot milder. So it's going to kill
Right.
off Delta and make the pandemic a lot more manageable. So, by the way, that's another thing. I don't know what you think about this, but the curves they show you, all the people that are dying are people that are unvaccinated, and the people that are dying are all Trumpers. Why are they killing off their own voters? Where's the
I've
logic?
said that for a while. It didn't make any sense.
What's the logic? I mean, these people are the ones that vote.
And the thing is, Fox News is all vaccinated and Trump is vaccinated.
Well, yeah. Well, by the way,
And,
okay.
and
Again,
why do people act like, oh, they even booed Trump when he said get vaccinated? So
yeah, but okay, short memory. Okay, let's go back. Didn't Trump, do you remember in 2020, Trump didn't like masks because he doesn't like how he looks with masks. He kept saying, I don't want to wear a mask because I'm this alpha male and I don't want to, but he kept saying vaccines are going to solve the whole problem. I'm bringing in warp speed vaccines.
right.
And what, you forgot that? Now you boo him? That's your leader. That's your cult.
Well, Biden even said the one thing from the former president is that he really got this vaccine going because he said, take off all the restrictions. I want a vaccine. But he also called it a Democratic hoax.
I know. Well, that's
After he tells Bob Woodward, yeah, it's really a vicious virus. But he tells the American people, oh, it's a hoax. You can shoot up bleach, put a light up your ass.
I mean, quite honestly, the thing is, the man in the end, it's just strange. You can almost, whatever he says, either think he's doing it or go completely upside down. Like he used to say, the solution is to have people that are extremely competent. Okay, then why are you extremely incompetent? Let's talk about that, because that's what you are. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
how
the
it
thing
is.
is too, is that I think I actually feel kind of like he's pathetic, like he's really going down.
It looks like that to me.
He has these rallies and never once does he bring up something for the nation. I have an idea of what we can do for this nation. All he talks about is him and how he won. That's all he talks about.
Yeah, no, and I mean, and it's the focus on the past, right? And I mean, you can see his chart. You can see this thing where there's this entry point in 2016, which actually is very dangerous because it would be someone like saying to you, Linda, there's in the next room that there's a suitcase with $2 million. You can take it. And then you'd ask, well, whose money is that? And then, well, it could be drug money or mafia, but it's okay. Just you'd say, no, I don't think so. He went in. I mean, anybody could have told the guy, are you sure you want to get up on the perch like that with your past and all the liabilities you have? So he gets this amazing entry point, but then all the transits after that are extremely threatening. And you even see this one that happens very infrequently. There's this thing in astrology with it's an ascendant change that happens. It can be like every 20 or 25 years. And that is changing later this year in around August to a sign that is not favorable. It almost has the quality of the end, right? The collapse of the building. And if you say, well, what makes you say that? Look around. What news have you been seeing since December, right? There's a constant step by step, more and more things are lining up that I think are really threatening. You don't want to have a congressional committee digging up messages and creating comments.
I know, but it's fake news. It's fake news. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's fake news until they send the reference to Merrick Garland and they start charging. I mean, I don't know.
They will down the road here. Yeah. Now, listen, did you ever read on Tucker Carlson or Sucker Carlson?
Tucker Carlson, the main thing with him is that his chart by birth is actually quite good, but it's extremely choppy this year into the spring of next year. The next 12 months are very choppy. Now, the thing about that is, then you have to get into a thing about saying, is he going to go down, and potentially lose his job? It's possible. It is possible, but it's also possible that because he has, what Fox is like. The only way you get thrown out of Fox is if you do something like what O'Reilly did with, accosting women, something that really damages. So it's possible that he sort of rides it out and then he cools off next year, but it's choppy this year.
Yeah, sure. Because I saw Fox News totally changing, but it's because of the death of the owner.
Oh, really?
I see him passing in the next couple of years, and when he passes, things will change.
Oh, well, that would be a welcome. That would be a welcome thing.
But he actually sat there on TV and called Canada a socialist country now because Trudeau said, you got to stop with this blocking our roads and everything. It's not a free country anymore. It's a socialist country.
Well, I thought that, what I mean, so in socialism is when people tell you what to do. I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, but that's what he called it.
Yeah, I mean, that guy.
Canada is not a free country anymore.
He's a lucky. I mean, there will be points like his chart, I'm keeping an eye on to gauge when he gets because he's a Taurus, right? So then when Saturn opposes, there'll be moments that are more dangerous, where things can really go wrong. And it's possible because I've seen that too, where you have a chart that's overall pretty good, but if the person is really misusing the energy, a single transit can knock them off and, defang them, like put them in a totally different place. To be honest, I mean, this Carlson guy, he's a full-blown Trumper. He invents things. He makes up stuff that isn't true.
And since it's clear as day on TV, like it's the truth.
Yeah, this thing about it was a false flag operation, the January 6th, and saying things like, why are we defending Ukraine? We should be defending Russia. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Right. Oh, and then Russia plays what he has to say all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And Russia also gets fake videos that apparently the Ukraine is doing genocide, and they're not. But they plug these fake stuff on them. Anyway.
Yeah. No, one of the things there, totally different cycle, but the Neptune cycle, which started in 2011, and it's going to end in 2+ years. It's going to switch signs because it's in Pisces the whole time. Pisces, the upside of Pisces is the explosion in video information, like YouTube. If you go back, starting in 2011 to now, you can find so much great information. The problem is you also find disinformation because the dark side of Neptune is lies and deception. And this is what how is it possible that things like QAnon even exist, where they're saying things like the Kennedy's coming back and he's going to run with Trump.
Are they still doing that, by the way? I haven't heard anything like that.
I don't know, but they're probably doing something else. I mean, they live in like an Alice in Wonderland. It's like they're high on something,
Yeah. Is that finally going to die out a little bit?
Yeah, when Neptune switches, for sure, it's gonna switch the insanity. It's gonna improve a whole lot.
What,
Yeah.
how about, when does that switch happen? What time?
Well,
frame?
that, to me, I keep getting that we have to get through at least the next election, at least before things cool
Calm down.
off. And I'm not even 100% sure. It might even be an election and a half, like to the midterms after that or something, because
Okay,
I think that the force of this, negativity, disinformation is really strong, and it's going to be hard to shake. And plus, the planet doesn't get out until then, basically, right? So
right,
that's
exactly.
why. Is that approximately your sense of
Yeah,
it?
I know it's gonna die down, and I see that guy dying from Fox News too,
Rupert.
Rupert Murdoch. Well,
Yeah, well,
he'll
he's
change a
getting
lot of things.
he's getting up there. I mean, isn't he 90?
Yeah, I don't know, but I
Um,
saw him going.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw him going. So is there anything, any flags you want to fly, or you want to tell us any sign? What signs need to look out for to be careful now?
well, okay, so the signs, if you want to, in the immediate, just like right now, this week, the full moon affects the fixed signs more. That would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. But again, this is where it can become subject to looking at it in a final way, because you could have a lot of planets there and you're not that sign, right? And it could affect you. So this is where knowing your planets is kind of important. If you know where they are, then you can track it, and you can do that.
I have a lot of Leo, right? Aren't I?
Yeah, you have a lot of Leo. In your case, I think that some of the things you've been doing, in a way, there isn't this like you're trying to improve your creativity, or you're trying to
Yes,
express
yes,
more, right? Because that your Leo for you is in the creative axis, right?
right.
You've got Leo Aquarius cutting across creative houses, so new computers, new ways of doing things.
Writing more.
And
Yeah, things are
yeah,
finally coming, but I am stopping readings, the regular person to person reading. I'm
you
gonna
are.
still do YouTube, but I need to take a break from it.
You mean like right away,
No,
or
December.
December of this year?
I'm already booked through December of this year.
Oh, okay. So you just aren't going to go beyond that. Yeah. No, and it makes sense. I mean, it's you see, this is where you see too a normal person with normal good intentions, with a sense that they're doing things to feel happy and help other people. The astrology will help you. There's no problem. It's when you're a criminal then it comes in and goes, no, I mean, no, because it pushes
Right,
back. So in
right,
a way, it's reflecting common sense, right? So
right,
the full moon, it illuminates things. It could say, wow,
right.
this could improve, right? And so
But
yeah.
did you see any aspects of a full out war or anything in the near future?
Well, the thing is, everything is telling us that there should be. You mean like with Ukraine, right? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't, but everything in the news is pointing to that. And yet, to me, it feels like no, that it shouldn't turn out that way. More like, for example, it's possible that Putin being Putin, he doesn't do it, but then he keeps the soldiers there and he keeps everybody on edge.
yeah. I just see him creating chaos, and I see eventually him having to run for his life.
So do you see though that like do you see the
I
missiles
see
flying?
skirmishes. I see him doing some stuff, even could be cyber, that are real irritating, but he's just standing there trying. He's a bully.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that the other guy, Zelensky, I don't have his time, but I have his day, and he's under a lot of pressure too,
He's
because
under a lot of pressure.
he has you can always tell, like, at the moment right now, you look for the fixed signs: Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Saturn is pressuring there. This guy has like multiple planets in that axis, so
It's
he's
tough.
sweating it, right? And it is possible that he can get pushed back depending on how he navigates. It just means whenever Saturn is around, it's not saying necessarily you're going down. What it says is there's going to be stress there. You're going to
But
have
he
to.
stands in being a good person, because he wouldn't lie about Hunter Biden.
I agree.
He wouldn't
No,
lie about him. They said, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. He wouldn't do it. He
no, it's
refused.
true. It's true. Yeah, it's totally true. I
And
think
they
if
needed the
anything-
money. And they
Yeah.
deemed it. But
Yeah.
Navalny is up again. They've got him before the courts in Russia, trying to get him to stay in jail even longer with some Trump changes. Listen, I've always said, if Navalny goes, if he dies in prison, it's also the end for Putin.
Yeah,
People will be coming after him.
I think with Putin, what you can see in his chart is that already by next spring, it's really misaligned, and the end or the period where I would call for the finish would be about 2 years after that, and when Saturn enters Aries, which takes it into about 2024 or so. Like once that happens, it opposes his planets. It's really hard, right? But
He's being pushed out or whatever.
right, but I mean, at the moment, I don't see it. If you see it, I'm totally happy to
Yeah,
agree with you. If
yeah.
you see like this guy's going down in April or May,
Well, he's got this Napoleon complex. He really thinks he's all that in a cup of tea.
yeah, well, I
But
mean,
you know, he's spending all this money for these games, these war games, and they don't have that kind of money to spend. They've got what did my friend used to say? They've got the economy of Rhode Island. I mean, they're not a big economy.
yeah, you know that John McCain used to say about Russia. He used to say that Russia is a gas station with an army. I mean, but it's true though. I mean, it's.
Oh, I love it. I love
it. What amazes me is that this is the problem with human nature, that you see a guy like him and they've got now it's a capitalist economy. You're no longer saying, well, we don't like you guys because we're communists. No, you're doing the same thing. So why not join the West? Why not, be part of the order? Why are you making, all this trouble and these ideas like they're going to invade you? No one's going to invade you. You've got your country. I mean, Ukraine left. Ukraine wants to be independent. Just let them do it, right? And
yeah.
And you have lots of land. There's no problem. You can be capitalist.
No problem.
Why make all this trouble? But in a way, birds of a feather flock together. He's a lot like Trump that way. He wants to be in the news. He wants to be talked about. He wants to be, seen as this really powerful man. It's, honestly, this is where I'm hoping that the Eris energy, that once it was discovered, it's the power of women rising, right? And I think we need more women in the world in charge of countries, because men play these testosterone games. They're so fruitless. What is the point?
Yeah.
People die, why? Just so you can say, I'm the big man on the horse.
Right. No. Oh, I remember that video of him playing hockey. Did you see that? He fell flat on his face.
He fell, yeah. I know. I mean, that's the
He
thing.
hated that. He hated that it got out and everybody's like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. The thing about this is that, if anything, my sense, this is just me opining, but the more Biden shows him a strong hand. I mean, I wish Biden would say to him, listen, if you go into Ukraine, you're not getting out, because we're going to help these guys. We've got a lot of military weapons to test. No problem. Go in there, but you're not getting out. So decide.
Well, I think Trump gave Putin everything he needed to know about what Ukraine had.
Yeah.
And then they really thought they'd get Trump in again. And now that Biden's in there, he can't get the intel like he used to. And I think they have shown the Ukraine a map. And as soon as they cross this border, you're going to hit here, here, and here ballistically. And we're going to hit cyber-wise, and we're going to knock these people off their asses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, though, that, with anything you do, especially when you're being malevolent, I mean, the things are set up to push back. That's the true meaning of society. If you run traffic lights, you get a ticket. That's so we can keep order.
Exactly.
When you're doing this kind of disorder, malevolent stuff, the world will push back. It's a lot more risky. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and by the way, it was really clever. What they did here is they're always doing disinformation. They got in front of it and they've been publicizing everything. Like Russia's thinking this, Russia's trying the other thing. They always want to do it on the sly, but because it's public.
Oh, Intel even said they're trying to make a fake movie showing that Navalny's gang killed innocent, and it's not true.
Exactly.
So they couldn't release the movie.
And you know what's interesting? This is an interesting thing, that in Biden's chart, the planet that does, in a way, it's like propaganda, the film, industry where you're putting videos out is very strong. So I think subconsciously, or for whatever, I think he figured that out. He figured out, if I can just move the information, or maybe someone told them, or maybe it worked out that way. But flooding the airwaves is the last thing that Putin wants, because the Russian playbook is to catch you by surprise and then say, oh no, well, they attacked us. And like you said, right, they were wearing the green, when in fact it's them. I mean, they're surrounding the country with, this whole thing, what's the problem? Just put the soldiers back. There's no problem, right? If you are serious. So why are they even there? I mean,
him even saying that he's pushing back the stock market, by the way, is going through the roof because everybody's happy. I don't trust him as far as I can throw. And I could probably throw him a little pea pod. But he's saying that that they pulled some of the troops back. And yes, he is pulling some troops back, but he might even be planning on acting like, well, okay, we're not going to do anything and then hit. You see what I'm saying? I don't trust him.
No, and I mean, the thing is, once a country like the US has a lot of resources, a lot of military resources. Once they're watching you with all their satellites and with all their information, they know what you're doing. So you saying,
and vice versa.
Vice versa, right? But they were saying this morning that, the Russian media was saying they were pulling soldiers back, but the rest of the people watching go, what do you mean, where? Because all we see is more tanks and more missiles coming in.
Yeah, so I felt like he was lying when he said that. That makes sense. I mean, like nothing to see here. They're acting like they're going to work with them, but they still want to come in under the radar.
Exactly. But it's never good when what he didn't want. Putin's game is to try to disrupt NATO, break up the alliance. But the fact that was Trump. Trump was trying to destroy the NATO. That was one of his games.
Oh, well, that's why Putin put him in there.
Right. And the thing is, in a way, we're lucky that Biden is so relationally oriented. He's so team oriented that way. He wants alliances, because if everybody's on board, it's very complicated for one country to say, well, we're just going to do this, or
we're just going to take over. Yeah.
And I mean, the big problem is that they're providing a lot of gas to the Germans and to Europe. So it could create a crisis. But think about it. If he cuts off the gas, he doesn't get paid. I mean, all of this is.
And America said, we'll bring gas for you guys.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's hardly a simple thing. So really with Putin, I hope they can find a way to appease his ego so he doesn't feel like he's bruised. But, given the way he thinks, it could be a little tricky.
Well, his oligarchs are saying stand down for now. Stand down.
By the way, the oligarchs in England, they're saying that, the Russians are running around too free. This is the problem, right? If Putin does something, all that money sloshing around in the Western countries, they'll start blocking it, and those guys don't want that.
Right,
in a way,
exactly.
Russia is like a country run by oligarchs, right? All the rich guys, and they're not going to want, their parties in Paris
champagne and caviar. Yep.
Stop. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, my friend.
All right, that was a lot of fun
talking to you.
We've solved all the problems of the world.
We've solved all the problems of the world. I have a big prayer session coming up at 12:30. Last night I did a huge one. I energetically put this light around me and I pushed it out right on Putin. And I pushed it out with all my might. And I actually scared myself. And I think I scared the dogs too. When it hit him, he turned. It's like if you threw a beach ball at someone's head and they turn. He turned and looked at me and it scared the bejesus out of me. I thought, oh my God, he knows who I am.
Well,
it's probably all in my head, but
I hope that it worked. I put
a big like ice castle around him. So if he puts out good, he'll get good back. But if he puts out bad, more bad happens to him than happens to anyone else. And I put a big protection around the Ukraine too. So
excellent.
So today all our people are going to meet and pray. All right, my dear friend. I miss you.
All right, I miss you too. We'll talk
again.
And
I've written you down. I don't do readings for you. For you, I would do a reading anytime. But I did put you down as a link for people to have for a reading.
Oh well, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure we'll confer again soon with.
We will.
All right.
All right, sweetie. Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Cheers.